to you live from Nairobi, Kenya. This is TV47 News Tonight. Philip Omonde is on the sign language interpretation. And I'm yours truly, Stanley. Irungita, buckle up for the next 1 hour as I update you what is happening across the country and beyond. Our first story, 2 people have lost their lives, while at least 20 people continue to receive treatment at the Meru Level 4 hospital in Kiambu County following a cholera outbreak in the area. Now, it is alleged that the affected consumed tap water, which may have been contaminated with sewage. This is the dire situation outside the Meru Level 4 hospital as those discharged walk feebly, with their family and friends supporting them. So far, 2 people have lost their lives while at least 20 are recuperating. It is alleged that some of the residents drank contaminated water from their taps mixed with sewage on December 23rd.
Tumeleta sistangu huku hospitali, tulienda tukaomba maji ya kukunywa, tukapewa maji ya mfereji. Hiyo maji sasa tumekunywa hiyo maji, jioni sistangu akasikia vibaya, kaanza kuhara, kaanza kutapika. Ndio tukaona tumlete hospitali, tukamleta huku Ruiru Hospital. Venye tumemleta huku Ruiru Hospital, wadi zimejaa. The residents have faulted the local water company of discharging raw sewage into Ruiru River, exposing thousands of consumers downstream to the possibility of contracting cholera.
Hii nasihi serikali wajulishe wananchi na watume maofisa katika ground ndio waweze kuangalia wale ambao wengine wanaweza kuwa na hiyo ugonjwa na hawajijui, ndipo waweze kupata tiba.
So ningeshauri tu wa Kenya wazidi kujihadhari na hili janga, wafanye usafi, wanawe mikono na pia wasikule vyakula ovyo ovyo, kwa sababu mama yetu alikula tu hichi chakula cha barabarani ndipo saa hili janga likamkumba. So wa Kenya tujihadhari.
According to Murera Ward MCA Moses Ngatha, 29 people from Theta and Murera areas are said to have recovered so far from the disease. The Ministry of Health has heightened its surveillance due to the cholera outbreak in Kiambu County after the first cases were reported on the 8th of October 2022 during a wedding ceremony. This even as the MOH continues to bolster its campaign against the disease by vaccinating more than 12 million Kenyans in the counties most affected, which include Machakos, Garissa and Kiambu. Some of the symptoms of cholera include diarrhea, vomiting, rapid heart rate, loss of skin and thirst. Lack of enough water, lack of enough latrines, and lack of hygiene are some of the factors that lead to the spread of cholera. Our efforts to interview medical staff at the Level 4 hospital proved futile. And from that, residents of Lemuyak area in Laruk Tiati constituency are now calling for the withdrawal of Kenya Defence Forces in the area, citing safety concerns, while at the same time calling on the government to deploy bomb experts so that all weapons abandoned in the area can be detected and removed. Sylvia Nyongesa with more.
KDF kwa kweli training wanafanyianga hapa. Na saa zingine wanafanya hapa mlima hapa kukomo.
Led by Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamkate and Lawyer Morok Ward MCA Maria Losile, the residents say training sessions conducted by KDF in the area have proved to be dangerous to residents, especially children who have on several occasions picked up explosive devices left behind by the officers.
Wanashoot kuanzia hapa, wanapiga kule risasi. Na wanaacha hizo vitu, inaacha hapo. Watoto ambao wanachunga wanyama, wanakuja hapo, wanakota hizo vitu na watoto wanapoteza maisha. Hatutaki tena. Tumesema hatutaki tena.
Lazima tupate records yote. Ndio tuambie hii watu wakuja warakote vitu vyao na walipe hii familia wameumia.
This comes 2 days after 2 boys aged between 11 and 14 years were killed and 1 other injured after an explosive detonated. Michael Chepchanga, a brother to one of the victims, said the boys were herding their parents' cattle on Monday evening when they picked up an unknown device and started playing with it before it detonated.
Tulijaribu kuuliza wale vijana walikuwa nao, wakasema waliokota na wakalete, alafu kisha baadaye wakagonga. Walijaribu kuwacha kidogo, wakaona kwa nini wamewacha, na huenda walikuwa wanataka, ni kama kuna vile walikuwa wanataka kufanya, so wakagonga. Watu walikuwa wanalisha mifuko yao na kwa hiyo harakati hawako wanajua, wakapoteza maisha yao.
The bodies of the victims are currently preserved at Baringo County Hospital mortuary as the injured boy receives treatment at Nakuru Level 5 Hospital. Sylvia Nyongesa, TV 47.
Right, thank you for that, Sylvia Nyongesa. Now, embattled Meru Governor Kariuki is currently testifying before the Senate Special Committee probing her impeachment. Now, earlier, Kariuki's chief of staff appeared before the committee where he put up a spirited fight defending the governor over the 4 allegations leveled against her. Let's cross over there to the Senate live and listen in to what is happening.
When you took to the podium, did you correct those assertions? Either you did or you didn't. Which one will you take?
First gentleman is a grown-up man.
That's not my question.
Order, Madam Governor. You must answer questions the way you've been asked. He did not ask for that storytelling which you are starting. He wants yes or no.
I did not disown.
You did not disown. When the first gentleman told the public rally that the Honorable Puri Abori had brought fictitious pending bail for 12 companies, did you, after you took to the podium, correct that misleading information?
No, it wasn't in my agenda.
It wasn't in your agenda?
Yes.
Instead of correcting it, didn't you go to actually affirm his assertions and tell the gathering you don't want a Nusumukate government?
No.
You didn't mention Nusumukate in that video?
The video you are talking about, the Tigania East Member of Parliament, I mentioned nowhere.
I'm talking about the Cabinet Secretary and the Honorable Deputy Speaker. Did you correct the assertions made about them demanding a share in the county public appointments?
No.
You didn't. Don't you think, given the seriousness of these allegations, if you knew, as you must have, that they were lies, as a public leader and leader number 1 in the county, the first thing you should have done is to dispel the aspersions cast on the 2 honorable leaders?
But because they were uttered by a different person, I thought it was good for me to talk to him later to understand.
These utterances, for the record, are not uttered by a random person, but by a person you have given some 2 offices in public, isn't it? Correct or incorrect?
Repeat again.
Were these utterances by a random citizen of Meru, or utterances by a person you had appointed as class ambassador and patron of the Meru Youth Service?
By then he was not appointed.
He had not been appointed?
Yes.
Was he the first gentleman at that time?
Yes.
So, don't you think as governor, if the first gentleman makes such serious allegations against other leaders, a responsible governor should take the earliest possible opportunity to clear the air and say that is not correct?
Chair, I think the council should not be asking the governor about somebody who is not here in this court and who is not held accountable in this case.
Before I respond, I have seen the red light from the... Is it an objection or something?
Yes, Chairman. Honorable Chairman, we are constrained to interject because the issues that the governor is being put through, they are special in their nature under the law of evidence, under section 130. She's being asked questions about her spouse. And we have followed through and she has answered to the best of her abilities. Now she has been asked to form an opinion about her own spouse in a matter involving criminal implications, whether she's the one who is charged or it may thereafter follow that the spouse may be followed in other different proceedings in another forum. I think under the law of evidence, under section 130 of the Evidence Act, Cap 80 of the laws of Kenya, spouses and communications relating to spouses are protected. And also, this will not
All right, and still on the same, those are live pictures from the Senate where Kariuki Mwangaza, the embattled Meru governor, is being grilled by one of the councils and just answering and taking the stand, answering on matters of allegations of corruption and illegal appointments by the Meru County Assembly members. Now, the embattled Meru governor, Kariuki Mwangaza, is currently, is testifying before the Senate Special Committee probing her impeachment. Earlier, Kariuki's Chief of Staff, Gitonga, appeared before the committee where he put up a spirited fight defending the governor of 4 allegations leveled against her. Paul Kirobi with more.
So, in your witness before this Senate, has any of the allegations against the governor been proved based on the facts that you are aware of?
None that has been proved.
Wednesday morning, Governor Kariuki Mwangaza defense team put a spirited fight against her impeachment by members of Meru County Assembly. Meru County Chief of Staff Gitonga, who was testifying, had a difficult time to explain why there was a creation of fire department in the county and the creation of offices that are in existence.
Whereby we have in contest of 2 parallel offices that are in existence. I have not known of that unless it is produced before this committee.
If the governor appointed an informal through a kamukunji or public rally, an informal chief of staff who has no appointment letter, wouldn't that interfere with your official functions?
In his evidence, the witness has attached documents, evidence, confirming that those so-called appointments, they never got appointment, they are not on the payroll.
Embattled Governor Kariuki Mwangaza was in the dock where she defended her actions. Earlier, there was push and pull on the floor of the House after the governor's defense team said she will not testify.
Was the mover of this motion present in that meeting?
Yes,
DMK.
He was present.
Was Honorable Mwenda Ithili present in that meeting?
He was present.
Was Honorable Mawera in that meeting?
He was present.
And the Speaker was present?
He was present.
What was the agenda of that meeting, especially from members of County Assembly? What demands were made?
The demands were that I give them or allocate Wadford to them. The other demand is that they wanted the first gentleman not to accompany me in any meeting.
The new directives were issued following concerns from a lawyer representing the Meru County Assembly, Muthoni Thiankolu, that by refusing to testify, the governor could be hiding some information.
And we don't want at that time to be accused of the ambush. So we have already had the position that they are not amenable to have the governor cross-examined on affidavit. And since that's all we wanted to go on record, the matter is resolved. So I can continue if you
Okay, I've heard you.
But you can hear my friend Abdikadir.
I've heard you. Before I invite your colleague to come, are you really being fair to us?
Kiambu Senator Karungu Adhangwa poked holes on the sitting's procedures.
We would want to hear. We are here to see. Maybe we must start judging the governor. That's the way she is. She doesn't talk to people. She doesn't want even to hear. I don't want to do that now. But I'm trying to help the side of the governor. the accused should stand there so that we can ask those questions. She's seen on TV making utterances, roadside declarations, and then you tell us to examine a chief officer.
Governor Kawira will know her fate on Friday. The Senate will hold a special sitting on Friday to deliberate on Governor Kawira's fate. Senate Speaker Amason Kingi Wednesday gazetted December 30th for the sitting. On Tuesday, Kawira pleaded not guilty to the charges before the special committee, saying she's a victim of blackmail. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
I thank you for that, Paul Kariuki. We'll definitely be keeping you up to speed on that story on Friday. Now, some sad news. One person has died and several others injured following a road accident on the Kisii Road. This is after a bus belonging to the Modern Coast Company plunged into a river in Kisii, crushing a pedestrian who died on the spot. By Emmanuel with more.
One person has died after a bus belonging to the Modern Coast Bus Company plunged into a river in Kisii County this morning. This coming just months after the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) suspended its license in July this year, following another road accident that claimed the lives of 33 people at River Nithi. A pedestrian was crushed to death by the bus, while the injured were rushed to Kisii Referral Hospital for treatment. The police have since launched a manhunt for the driver of the bus, who fled the scene of the accident.
The driver, after the accident, disappeared from the scene.
The eyewitness say the steep section along the road is to blame for the morning accident, urging the government to reconstruct the road and change its design.
Hii barabara imefanya maneno kila mara. Kama wangeweza hii barabara ipate njia nyingine ipatilishwe hapo kuelekea pande hiyo. Alafu hiyo njia ya mlima ifungwe.
Kisii Central OCPD Amos Ambassa has urged the drivers to exercise caution when stopping and reversing on the road, promising that the company will be subjected to investigation by the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA).
Drivers, those who are responsible for the control, when they feel they want to stop somewhere, they must ensure that they have a good space and a good area to park their vehicles.
Also in Opolis area in Kilgoris, Narok County, a bodaboda operator was swept away by the raging waters downstream, together with his motorcycle. In the video doing rounds on the social media, the man is seen ignoring the calls from the pedestrian not to cross at that time. The body of the deceased has since been retrieved. By Emmanuel, TV47, Nairobi.
And 3 days after prison warden attached to the Nairobi West Prison facility died under mysterious circumstances, family of Constable Ken Kavunga Wali now is crying for justice as a post-mortem report indicates that the deceased was hanged, contrary with the DCI's report of mob justice at the Kilimani area. Lucky Heriano with more.
The three-man gang was nabbed with this Seska pistol loaded with 15 rounds of 9mm calibre that belongs to the late Constable Ken Kavunga Wali. According to the DCI report, Constable Ken was part of a three-man gang that had accosted a woman along Muchai Drive in Kilimani area here in Nairobi and robbed her of her mobile phone and other valuables. His two colleagues managed to escape while Kavunga's efforts were futile. Kavunga's death has raised eyebrows as now family calls for justice, saying their kin was killed under unclear circumstances, as Maureen Wali, sister to the deceased, narrates.
Nikampigia. Nikamwambia hapana, there's something that you guys are not telling us kabisa. Where is Ken? Akatuambia songa mbali na mami. I want to tell you something. Ken is dead. Na aliuliwa na how do you call these persons? Mob justice. Wakimpiga walienda, they were gang of 3, wenzake wawili walitoroka, yeye ndo alibaki na yeye ndo alipigwa, akafanya nini, akakufia kwa simu.
Alipatikana katika harakati za wizi na akapigwa na mob justice mpaka akauawa pale mahali. Kulingana na DCI, sababu kama mtu umeshikwa na wizi 24th usiku, how come by 25th the same guy report, DCI umetoa report ya kwamba alikuwa armed robber. Kama umepigwa na mob justice, as a police officer, alikuwa prison warden, alikuwa na gun. Unataka kuniambia hangeweza kutoa hiyo gun hata kusikia the crowd?
Speaking today at the city morgue in Nairobi, Haki Africa Director Halid Hussein has called for justice as they call on the security agencies to probe the matter.
From the postmortem report, we have seen that there was strangulation. And if there was strangulation, whether it's at the scene or whether it's at the police station or wherever it might be, that means the police should be investigating a murder case. Because an individual somewhere, strangulation has to involve an individual who has premeditated thoughts of finishing this particular individual. So we are asking for a probe, particularly the issue of strangulation, so that we can ascertain what truly happened and we get justice for the family that is now in dire stress, not understanding what caused the death of their kin.
Lakeriano reporting for TV 47.
Nominal farmers in Kirinyaga County are staring at huge losses after 4 Armyworms invaded their homes in Kiandai, Ndia constituency, destroying tens of acres of the crop. The farmers are now calling on the government to take up urgent measures before they lose all their crops to the highly destructive pest. Nation Kabale reports.
This is the situation farmers in Kirinyaga County have to deal with. The invasion of armyworms giving them sleepless nights. Their farms now turn to be a home for these pests, which have destroyed their crop yield. They are now living in a fear of imminent hunger, not forgetting the huge losses.
Wakikuta mahindi wanakula. Sasa tunaona hapa sisi tutataabika. Na juu tumetoka kwenye ile njaa ile kali. Sasa tunaona tutarudia hiyo njaa tena.
Sababu sasa ikitoka kwa nyazi inaingia kwa mahindi. Sasa ile njaa tunaona tuko karibu kutoka ni kurudi tena.
The farmers have been adversely affected by the worms for a week now. Napier grass have also not been spared by the destructive worms, and this is a threat to livestock production as well.
Hii area yote unaona hakuna hata ng'ombe inalishwa. Juu wamekula, angalia mpaka huku chini, sawa? Si unaziona?
Hakuna nyasi ya ng'ombe hizi zimekula. Na sasa hata mahindi tutakosa kufuna zikula namna hiyo.
The farmers lamented that the pests have defied the locally available farm chemicals and called on both the county and national governments to intervene and supply them with the correct pesticides that can be used to control these fall armyworms.
Hivyo tunaomba kwa hisani hawa serikali yetu ikuja itusaidie angalau wapige hii ndawa ndio ziishe zisiende mbali sana.
In April this year, armyworms invaded the giant Moya irrigation scheme in Kirinyaga County and are wreaking havoc on rice farms. This coming months before, at least 150 acres of maize crop was destroyed in 3 wards of Kibwezi East and Kibwezi West sub-counties following an invasion of armyworms. Nation Kabale, TV 47.
Musaite Ole Ntuta, the man who discovered the body of powerful politician Josiah Mwangi Kariuki, popularly known as JM Kariuki, has been laid to rest at his Kajiado home. Ole Ntuta, who was in good health and memory, died peacefully at his home on 19th December 2022 in what is believed to be a natural death. And as Mike Kagongo reports, the family of late JM Kariuki has vowed to build either a school or a health facility for remembrance of Musaite Ole Ntuta.
The little-known Musaite Ole Ntuta became the talk of the town back in March 1975 after he discovered the body of former Nyantarua legislator and close ally to first President of the Republic of Kenya, JM Kariuki, at Ngong Forest. The discovery of JM Kariuki's body sparked protests from a section of Kenyans who believed he was assassinated for being a critic of the Kenyatta government by then. At the age of 109 years, Musaite, a father of 14, was on Wednesday laid to rest at Olosho Oibor village, Kajiado West sub-county, marking the end of 47 years since he discovered a body he barely knew was for a prominent Kenyan.
It is important that we acknowledge and fully experience the emotions of this day, on which we have gathered to say goodbye to Mzee Ole Tunta.
Family and friends defied the heavy rains pounding the region to bid the elderly man described as peace ambassador generous and loving send-off.
We are proud to tell the world that he was our father. Our father was a pillar and a beacon of hope to the society and the nation at large.
Emotions ran high for both the Mzee Ole Tunta family and JM Kariuki's family members, who attended the burial in large numbers, signifying a good relationship the two families have maintained.
This family has come together since when our dad found the body under a bush at JM's Kariuki memorial site. While we were very young, at that age I think I was about 8 years, and it really troubled him. His life was changed from that time, and this is when, after some tortures, he decided to leave the place where there was access to road to avoid those embarrassment from the government of the day.
The JM Kariuki's family, led by his daughter Jane Kariuki, pledging that the family will utilize the 15-acre piece of land donated by the late to the family to set up a community project to benefit locals in the area. She says the community project will be significant not only in improving the well-being of the locals, but also keeping the memory of the late.
If it wasn't for him, history would be a different story today. The family of JM intend to sit down and discuss how we can help build something for the community that will benefit the community.
Ole Tunta, who was in good health and memory, died peacefully at his home on 19th December 2022. Cause of death considered natural. JM Kariuki's mutilated body was discovered at Ngong Forest on 2nd March 1975. The Mau Mau detainee was vocal in criticizing how the government was being run, saying him have a strained relationship with the first President Jomo Kenyatta, whom he had served as his private secretary between 1963 and 1969. The first attempt on his life was on 1st March 1975, when a bus he was supposed to travel to go to Mombasa was bombed. On 2nd March 1975, Kariuki's remains were found in Ngong Forest by Musaite Ole Tunta. His hands had been chopped off, his eyes gouged out, his face burnt with acid and left on an ant nest. The philanthropic politician was also elected as Nyantaro MP in 1974 and served as an assistant minister in the Ministry of Tourism. Mike, GOtv 47.
Well, let's focus on some education matters now. The National Taxpayers Association, that is NTA, has launched a progress report on poor education funding survey that shows that technical training colleges do not have sufficient funding in Nairobi County and throughout the country. In the report that was launched in Nairobi, it shows that the challenges faced by technical institutions include corruption, poor funding and nepotism among donors and respective colleges, affecting the flow of resources to the right people.
A report by the National Taxpayers Association, who advocate for pesa.
So from our report, we have found out that infrastructure is very poor in our facilities. From the report shared by the county, we can see that the absorption of the development budget has not been absorbed well. This means that correlates with the poor infrastructure we are seeing in our facilities. We have issues around, which was a center part of this study, looking at how are we giving the youth an opportunity to actually make use of vocational training centers. As National Taxpayers Association, we have undertaken a similar studies in Vihiga, Kisumu, and Nairobi. And we were with this study trying to encourage cross-county learning. So we borrowed and saw that from Vihiga, that county has a capitation fund of 15,000 per student being given. This is not so in Nairobi County. And we see that this has affected retention and transition of students in our VTCs. So our key ask from this study is one, can we move from the policy of capitation that we have in Nairobi County to actually funding the same?
We do not have a program, we do not have a structured way in which we do our co-curricular activities. We can have we can have in the school co-curricular activity, maybe for soccer, maybe soccer, these other ball games. But at the end of the day, we cannot do what? We don't move to the next level.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Tricent School of Medical Health Science and Technology is a premier training institute for market-driven courses. With state-of-the-art facilities, competent and dedicated members of staff, and linkages with the medical industry, you are assured of a bright future when you study with us. Enroll today in our campuses at Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay.
The secret to an instant glow and spotless skin. Acne C10 is a 10% pure vitamin C serum that effectively fades dark spots and clears dark patches. With a unique formulation, it is quickly absorbed deep into the skin to give optimal results. Acne C10, 10% pure vitamin C serum, safe on all skin types.
Hey! Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Chika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, chika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skills, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Starting this December, we will
Na wewe? Ipe wali maragwe? Wali? Hey! Wewe, mchele madando hapo! Na
nilikuwa nataka kaomena na kadoma.
mama, usijali, chakula yako tutakutengenezea kwa ajili yako tu.
Maisha yako, mapendeleo yako. Tunukiwa na Safaricom. Chagua bei yako ya kupiga simu au data. Piga *444# au utembelee My Safaricom app upate deal poa ya kupiga simu. Uongee zaidi au ubrowse zaidi.
Nataka chapati na crips.
Mala sausage. Nataka ugali na
We're watching TV47, the home of untold story.
At 34 minutes past the top of the hour. Thank you for being part of TV47 News tonight. Now let's continue with the smoky debate. As the number of active smokers increases annually, there appears to be a division in medical opinion on how to reduce the trimming statistics. Some medical researchers argue that vaping is the best harm reduction strategy for smokers who want to quit, whereas some, including the Kenyan government through NACADA, argue that increasing taxation on the cigarette product is the way to go. Our health reporter Elizabeth Atieno spoke to some medical researchers who took part in a recent study on vaping conducted by the King's College London and filed this report.
There are 1.3 billion smokers in the world, and 8 million die every year due to tobacco. More than 7 million of the deaths are as a result of direct tobacco, while 1.2 million are non-smokers who succumb after being exposed to second-hand smoke. In Kenya, 8,000 people die annually as a result of smoking. It has since been revealed that 7 in 10 people really want to quit smoking but find it difficult, and hence researchers have developed a harm reduction strategy where vaping or use of e-cigarettes was considered the best option to ease the transition from traditional cigarettes to not smoking at all. The question that continues to come up, however, is, can e-cigarettes or vapes help you stop smoking once and for all? Dr. Michael Kariuki and Dr. Nick Mutisia are medical researchers and pediatric doctors who were among a group of researchers who took part in a new research published by the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience at King's College in London, and are now exploring on their research findings.
We're being led with the idea that we feel smokers are not being heard. We feel that smokers are not being helped enough to quit smoking. Because as we can see over the years, even if we brand, they are told to quit, it's still not working. If you look at our current smoking rates in the country, we are having almost, we are about 10% of adults who are smoking. And that if you go to the younger generation, it may even be more.
And we did find out that yes, number one, we have smokeless products that are used in this country that comprise tobacco, number one. Number two, these products are mixed with other products to make them more palatable, to make them more tastier. And one of the key ingredients that we found out mixed with the tobacco is areca nut. Areca nut is a special nut. It's actually a nut, an edible nut that is grown in Asian countries, and it has substances in it that make you...
We were also looking at the what we call risk continuum. What we say is, are there less harmful products that people who are addicted to smoking, that they are able to use, but then they get the less harmfulness and they can end up stopping smoking.
Vaping products or e-cigarettes are small battery powder devices that heat a liquid solution to create a vapor or cloud. The liquid in the e-cigarettes may contain a solution of vegetable glycerin, flavors, and varying amounts of nicotine. But just how safe is the liquid found in the e-cigarettes?
In the United Kingdom, people came and they saw the science that since it is nicotine that is affecting you, it is making you addicted, then why can't we taper this person, the nicotine levels, slowly by slowly down over time? And then you can be free of nicotine and you will not desire or want to go back to burning a cigarette again. And that's how the nicotine replacement therapies came to be.
Smoking remains the leading cause of lung cancer in both Kenya and the world. 1/3 of deaths from heart diseases are also as a result of smoking. Banning of the cigarette products has since been described as the main cause of the illness. Hence, some researchers now argue that vaping products are less harmful as they do not involve combustion.
Banning the cigarette is what exposes you to getting cancer and not using the nicotine. The nicotine itself does not cause cancer. And that's why, under the World Health Organization, we have nicotine replacement therapies.
When you vape nicotine, which is only recommended for smokers, you eliminate the combustion part of the tobacco. The tobacco is not there, so you are vaping nicotine. And under the guidance of health professionals, you're able to guide the smoker and slowly reduce the dose of nicotine in the vape to an extent whereby this particular smoker is eventually able to quit smoking.
So the nicotine hooks you up. You are not able, because of the euphoria that it gives you, that feeling it gives you, you want more and more of it. And because of that, you end up burning a cigarette. The moment you burn a cigarette, you expose yourself to harmful products. You expose yourself to combustible products, like you have carbon monoxide, you have products like tar, you have nitrosamines, which are group 1 carcinogenic products under the WHO.
In England, the National Health System was forced to set up a Stop Smoking Services department where the use of less harmful products or vaping products was established, with researchers revealing that the move has significantly reduced the number of cigarette smokers in a period of 12 months.
50 to 75,000 of people in UK are quitting smoking yearly, proportions that have never been seen before. We discovered that they have a very comprehensive Stop Smoking Services department under their Department of Health that educates smokers on the dangers of tobacco use. Then they no longer use the approach of quit or die. They take smoking as a disease.
However, researchers maintain that vaping still poses a small fraction of health risks in the short and medium term.
Vaping is less risky than cigarette smoking by 95%. However, vaping is not risk-free. And I want to make that very clear. Because you are seeing there is that 5% risk when you are using vapes. Vaping is for smokers who desire to quit smoking. Vaping is not for the person who is not smoking. It's not for the youths and the adults and adolescents.
With the proliferation and rapid evolution of these products on the market, it is crucial that they are regulated so that everyone is protected, including measures to prevent their use amongst current non-smokers.
In 2014, the World Health Organization declared a ban on vaping, especially indoors, due to the gap identified in the regulation framework in different countries around the world. In 2021, the international body raised concerns over the alarming increase in the number of youths and adolescents using vaping products due to the flavor added by some tobacco companies. According to data from WHO, the percentage of teenagers between 11 to 18 years who vaped in 2020 was at 4.8%, and in 2021, the number slightly declined to 4.0%, but drastically rose to 8.6% in 2022.
But tobacco still kills more than 8 million people every year. Newer products like e-cigarettes pose a new danger, marketed with flavors to appeal to children and adolescents. These products should be regulated to protect public health.
New products like flavored e-cigarettes pose major threats, especially to young people. Tobacco companies are promoting them as safe alternatives to cigarettes and other tobacco products. It's another dangerous chapter in the industry's history of deception. If we don't act, another generation of kids could get addicted to nicotine, and we can't let that happen.
These products are not only addictive and harmful, but most are modifiable and are difficult to distinguish from some tobacco products, making their regulation a challenge.
We need to protect the children from accessing these products. So you should not make them enticing to the young ones. They should not have things like carded. They should not have the aspect of the flavors becomes very debatable. They should be ideally prescribed by a professional.
Why is it that these products are not regulated by KEBS? We need the regulatory authorities to come on board.
Some researchers and epidemiologists now argue that the Tobacco Control Act in Kenya does not highlight the harm reduction strategies contrary to WHO's recommendation. The Tobacco Control Act of 2007 covers restrictions on public smoking, tobacco advertising, promotion, sponsorship, as well as packaging and labeling of tobacco products, whereas the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control Article 1D explains tobacco control as a range of supply, demand and harm reduction strategies that aim to improve the health of a population by eliminating or reducing their consumption of tobacco products and exposure to tobacco smoke.
The moment we have these strategies on board, we will see the number of deaths slowly go, just like we are seeing in the UK. Even if it's 1% or 2%, it's a good start. Remember, out of 2 tobacco consumers, 1 will die out of tobacco-related deaths.
But it appears Kenya is far from exploring or implementing the option of vaping. Through a publication dated September 9, 2022, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse NACADA stated that, and I quote, 6 identified studies in the United States and the United Kingdom showed that tobacco manufacturers introduced new brands and products as cheaper substitutes, presumably to make sure cigarette smokers do not quit, considering that taxes cause prices to rise. This is another of the tactics employed to defeat taxation, and which is mainly aimed at ensuring that there is a steady supply of cigarettes in the market even when the prices for existing brands increases. The other strategy employed by the industry revolves around the reclassification of products or changing their physical attributes or even reducing its production levels so they may fall within lower tax categories. This is mainly aimed at exploiting the different approaches to taxing different products.
But these last 18 months have also shown us the extent to which the tobacco and other industries involved in the manufacture of e-cigarettes will go to make a profit. They have attempted to brand themselves as part of the solution and a public health ally, while still marketing and profiting from tobacco across the globe. And e-cigarettes, which are marketed to children and adolescents, threaten to hook a new generation to nicotine.
They are too expensive. There is a lot of taxation on those products. Smokers cannot afford those products. Even the newer drugs, we have very new drugs that have come out in the market. They are unaffordable for our regular smoker who is smoking, for example, a packet or 2 packets a day. They cannot afford those drugs. So we advocate for the government of Kenya to make these products available. At the same time, make them affordable.
NACADA further maintained that significantly increasing tobacco excise duty and prices is the single most effective and cost-effective measure for reducing tobacco use, further stating that increases in taxation will not only be beneficial to smokers who want to quit, but also reduce the overall consumption of tobacco. And as the divided medical opinion on vaping intensifies, medical researchers have since found a common ground that preaches if the choice is between smoking and vaping, choose vaping. But if the choice is between vaping and fresh air, then choose fresh air. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth Atieno. Now let's puff pass to the wonderful world of sports. As the campaigns to nurture talent at the grassroots level intensify, the Kakai-Bissau football tournament was held with the aim of selecting the best players from various participating teams who formed the Kiminini Combined Football Club. The new formed team is now expected to host FC Leopards at the Ndura Sports Complex in Kitale, that is Trans Nzoia County, in a friendly match slated for 31st December this year. Our reporter Boniface Baraza attended the tournament and filed the following report.
Speaking at the official launch of the club after the finals of Kakai-Bissau tournament that brought together teams from Kiminini constituency to form the Kiminini Combined Football Club, Kakai-Bissau, the area MP and the club patron, said the move is geared towards nurturing soccer talents at grassroots level.
Na kwa hii timu yetu Kiminini Combined vile mmesema itakuwa League 2. And our first match is going to be with AFC Leopards Ingwe tarehe 31 katika huu uwanja. Ndoto zangu kwa miaka ingine 2, 3, 4 tuwe tunaondoa wachezaji hapa, tunapeleka Hispania, tunapeleka kule kwingine wakipiga La Liga, ama tunapeleka kule wanapiga Premier League. Sawa sawa? And that one we can do it.
The winners of the tournament walked home with trophies and cash prizes. Elsewhere, Kitalale FC triumphed Bondeni FC to emerge victorious in Andrew Kipeke football tournament.
Bunge, tafadhali mtengeni fedha ya kusaidia vijana katika kuchochea talanta zetu.
Shukuru mheshimiwa wetu Kipekee kwa kutuletea hii tournament. Hii tournament imeweza kutusaidia kwa sababu kuna vijana wengi wanajua kucheza mpira, lakini sasa kitu ambacho walikuwa wamekosa ni ile exposure.
Ili hao vijana saizi, unaona saizi wako hapa wengi sana. Wangekuwa sasa kule ndani wanakunya changa, wanakunya bangi, lakini leo wako hapa. So nitashikana na mheshimiwa Haran Chesang ili tuweze kuangalia vijana tutasaidia vipi wakati ya likizo.
Lakini pia ningependa pia mheshimiwa Kipekee aweze kutafuta pia timu ya wasichana ambao ni vijana pia waweze kujituma katika hii ulingo wa mpira.
Michezo pia hutuunganisha sisi pamoja. Pia tulipe swala la akina dada kipaumbele, wao pia wapate nafasi na fursa ya kuja pamoja kushiriki katika michezo kama hii ya leo.
The leaders who graced the football tournament led by Trans Nzoia Senator Alan Chesang and the best member of parliament Dr. Robert Pukose and livestock PS Harry Kimtai called on youth to take up soccer as any other profession.
Tunajua vijana hao wakiendelea kujituma hivi, tunaweza tukiwa na mdosi hapa anaweza wapeleka hata nje wachezee kule nje. Kwa hivyo ni vijana wakuwe na discipline na wajitume.
Tunajaribu kukava kabisa, tuchague talanta kabisa, kwa sababu rais wetu amesema anaanza kuchagua talanta kutoka world levels ndio tupate maplayer hata ndio tuweze kuwa represented in World Cup. Napenda kuhimiza vijana ya kwamba wachukulie hii sport very seriously.
Trans Nzoia Sports